All right, so let's talk about dictionaries. Now, dictionaries are an unordered, changeable collection. So we already kind of know what these two things mean. Unordered means there is no order preserved between the elements, and changeable means that we can update that collection. So a dictionary contains key value pairs, and the way we create a dictionary is something like this. We have our variable, we have curly braces here, and we have a key colon a value. Okay, these two can be anything you want. So strings, integers, any type of data, you can store them here. So these are the keys on the left side. These are the values. So unordered is basically because we have our keys here are a set. Okay, we know that sets are unordered. The order is not maintained, and that means for dictionaries as well, order is not maintained here. Now, the values are a generic collection, so there is no requirement on whether or not they are ordered. They are unordered because the keys are unordered, okay? But they can contain duplicates here if we want. The keys cannot contain duplicates. Since the keys are a set, they are unordered and cannot contain duplicates. So that is basically a dictionary. Again, here keys are unique, values can be duplicates if we want. So dictionaries are basically useful for storing a lot of information on a specific topic. So here is an example. We have our Germany variable with the capital Berlin, with a population of 82 million, an area and a code. Okay, so like I said, these can be any type of variable. Okay, we have strings here and integers, but you can pretty much use anything you like. And if we try to print that, we're going to get the print in this form, right? So we have key value, comma, etc. So let's try that out in our code just to see how we can create our dictionary. So I'm going to say Germany equals, and here we have capital Berlin, okay, we have, don't forget the comma, we have population, and that is 82 million. We also have an area between quotes, and that is, let's say, 350,000. And we have a code, country code, that is something like DE. Okay, so if we want to print our Germany dictionary, we're going to run this, and we will get the printout of our dictionary. So that is the basic structure of a dictionary. It allows us to store information based on keys, and later on we will see how to retrieve that information. All right, so let's have a look at how we can access items in a dictionary. So first of all, how do we get a value? So we get a value simply by accessing it by the name of the key that we want. Okay, so our dictionary we know has keys and values, and if we want a value, we have to provide the key. So let's put that in our code. I'm going to create the variable myCat, and that is going to have a name Fluffy, an age, and color. So I'm going to say name Fluffy. Okay, then I'm going to have an age that is going to be 2, and I'm going to have a color that is going to be black. Okay, so if we want to access the name of the cat, we have myCat, square bracket, name, and close the square bracket. Okay, so I have print myCat, square bracket, name, and that should give us the name, the value in the dictionary with the key name. Okay, so there we go, we have Fluffy. Now there is another way to get the item with the get function. Okay, so it's usually easier to access it like this, but if for some reason you prefer mycat.get, you can do that as well. So let's get the age this time. Let's go ahead and run this, and we get the value 2. All right, now how do we get all the values? Let's say we want to have all the values so that we can loop through them and perform some operation. In that case, we have the function .values, which will simply give us a dict values and all the values included here. Now, this is an iterable, so we already know what that means. It basically allows us to move from value to value. And when we study loops, we will see how we can apply the same function to multiple elements. So let's go ahead and print myCat.values, and that should give us the dict values fluffy, 2, and black. Okay, there we go. Now, we can also get all the keys if we want. For some reason, we want to loop through those. We have a similar function .keys. Okay, so we have print myCat.keys. Okay, let's go ahead and run it, and we get the keys here. All right, so that is how we kind of break down the dictionary into keys and values. Now, if we want both of those, both the keys and the values, then we have .items. .items, myCat.items will simply print out all the items that we have in our dictionary. So you can see that this gives us a list of items. It's called a dict items. All right, so how do we check whether we do have a key in a dictionary? Well, we have the keyword in. Okay, so we can check that is name in myCat true? Is something else like fluffiness in myCat, that is going to be false. So let's go ahead and try that. Print name in myCat and print whatever you want to put here, fluffiness, because this key doesn't exist, so we will get a false for the second one, but name does exist, we have it here, so we will get a true for the first one. There we go, so we have true and false. So that is basically how you are able to access items in a dictionary. All right, so let's have a look at how we can change and update our dictionaries. So there are quite a few ways to modify either the keys or the values in our dictionary. So we're going to look at a few of them in this video. So first of all, how do we add a key value pair, right? So we know our dictionaries have key value pairs, and we can of course add a key value pair at pretty much any time when we want to. So here is an example. I have myCat that has a name, an age, and a color. And I want to add the key gender with the value male. Okay, so let's try that out. I have myCat equals, so I have name is fluffy. Then I have age, that's going to be 2. And I also have color, that's going to be black. All right, so I have my dictionary. Now let's go ahead and, first of all, let me just print out the dictionary myCat, and then I want to add an element to myCat. So I'm gonna say myCat of gender is going to be male. Okay, so now when I print myCat and I run the code, there we go. So we get the first print was the original dictionary, and then the second one has gender male added to the dictionary there. There we go. Now, how do we remove a key value pair? That is quite simple. We use the function pop. Okay, so here we are simply removing the color key, and automatically the value will be removed as well. So if I do myCat.pop of, let's say, color, and then I print myCat, the dictionary again, I'm going to get the new dictionary without the color key, and of course without the value as well. There we go. Now we can also remove the last inserted item, which in our case will be the gender. right? So we do that with the pop item function. So if I say myCat.popItem, and then I print my cat, then if I run this, I will get the dictionary without the last inserted element, the last inserted key value pair, which for me was gender and male, and that is removed. We are now getting the name and the age. Right, so that is that. Now, just a word of warning, this pop item function was introduced in 3.7. So if you're working with a version that's lower than 3.7, a random item will be removed. Okay, 3.7 and onwards, which is what I'm using, the latest item will be removed from the dictionary. Now, there is a way to clear all the information from the dictionary and just leave an empty dictionary, if you need to do that. And to do that, you have the clear function. Okay, so here I have myCat.clear, and if I print my cat, then that will, if I print my cat, then that will give us an empty dictionary here. All right, let me just comment this out because I still want to have some elements in the dictionary so that we can use them in our next examples. So one thing you can do also to remove a key and value pair is to use the del keyword, right? So the del keyword will simply remove the key and automatically the value that is associated. So if we say del my cat of, let's say, age, and then I print my cat again, then we're gonna run that and we just get the name Fluffy in our dictionary, right? So we only have one key value pair left. And then finally, we can also remove the my cat dictionary completely. So that removes the variable and we will no longer be able to access it, right? So that means it's not an empty dictionary, it has been completely removed. And if we try to access it, we will get an error. So let's try that out. We're gonna say del my cat. And then if I try to print my cat, so if I try to access it now, I will get an error that says name error, name my cat is not defined. Now you might be wondering why I get the error at the beginning. This is not consistent. Sometimes we get it at the beginning, sometimes we get it at the end. This just relates to how the data is processed by the system, right? So the output might come in faster than the error, right? The program is executed in one go. Some information is sent to the printout, but the error message might come in on a separate thread at a separate time, right? So that is why sometimes it might appear at the beginning, sometimes it might appear at the end. It doesn't really impact our program that much at this point. There you go. So those are some ways to update our dictionary. Now, of course, if you want to just modify a key and a value, that is quite simple. The key, if you want to modify the key, you just add a separate key like this. If you want to modify a value, you can simply just rename it. So you can say something like my cat, let me just comment out the deletion, and you can say my cat name, that's going to be Fluffer. For some reason we want that, right? So that is quite obvious. That is how you modify the value. Here we were focusing mostly on how you modify the keys. So if I print out my cat at this point, then we will get the value modified and not the key. The key, you cannot really modify it because modifying a key is just the same operation as adding a new key and removing the old key, right? So you can do that in that way. So there you go. Those are some ways that you can update and modify your dictionaries. All right, so we know that the dictionaries can contain pretty much any data type. Okay, so they can contain strings, integers, floats, and so on and so forth. But that also includes other collections. So something like lists, something like sets, or even other dictionaries. Okay, so we have here an example of how we can put dictionaries inside of dictionaries, which means nested dictionaries. Okay, so dictionary keys and values can be any data type, including other dictionaries. We've said that. Now here is the example. We have our family dictionary, and we have a key child1, and as a value, we actually have another dictionary. Okay, so we can see here that in the value, we have the dictionary that contains a name and a year. Okay, let's say birth year. And here we have the second element of the first dictionary. Okay, we have child2. And here we have our dictionary, again, same structure as before. It doesn't have to be, okay? It doesn't need to be the same structure, but in this example, just to keep things logically consistent, we have the same structure. And here we have name and year. Okay, so let's try to put that in code. We're gonna have a family equals. So here we have our dictionary. The first key is child1. That has a value, a dictionary, and we have name, Alex, and our, year 2004. Okay, now after the value, we put a comma, and then we have our child2 key with another dictionary here, and we will keep the same structure. We don't have to, but we will keep the same structure. Now, this child2 is Monica 2007. Monica, and then don't forget the comma, and then year is going to be 2007. There we go, so that is our dictionary. Now let's go ahead and print our family dictionary. Okay, so there we go. We have child1 with the value dictionary and child2 with the value dictionary. So that is basically how you have nested dictionaries if for some reason you might need that. And of course, all the functions and methods and ways of updating and changing values work the same way here as well, whether you have a single dictionary or you have nested dictionaries.